Erika Ritter and Nick Wright after the lady. Ma'am, you got 5 minutes.
I know that. Hi, my name is Erika Ritter. I am a writer. You were perceptive about that, sir, but my name is Ritter, not Writer. And I would like to thank the committee, first of all, as a member of the public for whom I represent. I am a private citizen interested in these issues, interested in human-animal relationships. And I'd also like to thank the city staff for their high degree of interest and effort in getting public and professional input from interested parties to compile the report. Those efforts included public online surveys and direct consultation, including a meeting I attended at Metro Hall on May 1st. And at that time, I, among numerous other members of the public, expressed concern about the lack of priority given to concerns about the animals themselves, who are the biggest stakeholders in this, I would say, whether they are prohibited species or not, and especially those involved in mobile live animal programs, which I've come to think of as MLAPs. The report for action, I was discouraged to see when I read it, listed 6 criteria recommended for management of the prohibited animals list, but animal care and welfare was number 4, which was well below human-centered concerns. And the ordering of these 6 items does not reflect what the report itself reveals about the priorities of the public, reflected both in survey answers and statements made at those public consultations. For instance, on page 7 of the report, we learn in the surveys 87% of respondents identified animal care and welfare needs as a top priority. 84% identified the ability of the animal to be maintained in an adequate habitat as a top concern. That was above the 76% who expressed concern about the animal's potential risk to the public. And when it came to specific regard of companies that use prohibited animals for public or private events, 88% of public survey response identified consideration of animal welfare and safety as their top concern. 82% expressed concern for safe transport of prohibited animals. And that, I think, is not surprising. It reflects an increasing public awareness and concern for animals, not only those who are prohibited, but any and all who are used for commercial purposes, which many of these animals are. And was expressed in these public consultations, more and more members of the public seem to feel that the purported educational basis of this mobile zoo industry as a kind of fig leaf for businesses who truck caged and leash wildlife to schools, shopping malls, and birthday parties under the guise of giving children a view of the natural world, which these unhappy captive animals in no way represent. And the fact that animal-based circuses, roadside zoos, and other forms of captive animal exploitation are also encountering more and more public opposition only proves, I think, that the public's regard is more and more that this is not just about us. This is just not about what we might like to do or what we think is edifying and educational and useful for us. It's about how we are treating the animal population of the world. I'd like to close. I don't want to duplicate any of the other fine presentations I've heard this morning since I read the report, which is what my entire presentation is based on, not on what I've heard from other people. But it did say that there are 61 companies, at least, operating in Ontario who run mobile live animal programs. But it seems there is no central registry, no compulsion to register with the OSPCA, and even those approved by CASA, which is a self-regulating organization. I think we have to point that out. They regulate the zoos and aquariums that they are members of. They are seemingly inspected only once every 5 years. I think at the very least we need to ask this committee to look at the registry of these mobile programs, regardless of what species are permitted or denied, and no matter what species of captive wildlife are permitted for any kind of purpose. I would ask you to look at the bigger picture and consider whether commercial mobile animal programs should exist in a municipality where public sentiments and understanding are so clearly headed in a different direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for not being repetitive. Thank you. Any questions to the deputant? If not, thank you so much.
Thank you.